Hi everyone, this is Kira. This is going to be a walkthrough of the First Berserker Khazan demo. So we're going to probably play a spear build on this playthrough, and I'll walk through what skills to get to fight the boss at the end of this demo. So let's get started.
At last, your fate destroyed by one you trusted. A fallen star, torn from its orbit. You are the one we were waiting for.
So this is how a hero ends up.
You really think he's a traitor?
Shh. Quiet with that kind of talk.
At last, a physical form. Body. At last, a body.
So with this game, you do have a choice between two controller layouts. If I could classify them, they basically the default layout is a Neo controls, which means that your light attack is on square, heavy attack on triangle, and then you roll or dodge with X. If you want, you can switch to a what I would call a Dark Souls like layout. When that puts the light attack on R1, heavy attack on R2, and you dodge roll with circle. So it's just whatever you're more familiar with. I kind of think of this as a Neo-like. Well, it's kind of like if Neo and Sekiro had a baby, it would be this game. The loot system is very Neo-like. You get drops and build subsets with set bonuses.
No! Stop!
So to begin here, there's nothing really to do except slow walk over to this first checkpoint.
Stop. You really want to Do you feel it? The energy of the netherworld. That is what flows through you. Now, join with us.
In this game, you have a choice between 3 weapons. You can either dual wield, like the axe and sword like this.
Out of here.
There's also a spear, and you can also use a great sword. So that's like big slow weapon that uses lots of stamina for each attack. So depending on your play style, you can have a pokey play style, a dual wield play style, or a big bonk play style. In this playthrough, we're going to do a spear because I personally think spear is great for beginners on the boss that ends the second mission, Blade Phantom. So we're gonna go with spear. Now for this first mission, you don't have a choice of weapon, so you're stuck with dual wielding for this first mission. If you notice at the bottom, you have a health bar, red, and you have a stamina bar, white. When you do attacks, it costs stamina. If your stamina is fully drained, you will end up exhausted, which I'm going to show here. I guess they don't let you, if you get hit while and fully drained, you'll actually be stunned for a while in combat. I guess it can't happen out of combat. But that means that this is kind of a, I guess you'd say a Sekiro-like system in the sense that when your stamina bar is high, you want to be aggressive and attacking because your attacks will often disrupt or halt the enemy's attacks. But as your stamina bar depletes and you get closer and closer to empty, you need to be careful, back off, and let your stamina recharge. So that's why this combat in this game is really fun, because it's kind of a give and take. You know, you're going to start off, you know, wailing on the enemy and doing a lot of attacks or whatever, and then you'll get kind of drained, and then they get their turn, and you have to. Also, they may get their turn first at various points. Maybe you can't interrupt their attacks with yours, so you're forced to deal with whatever they're doing. And if you parry with L1, and if you parry effectively in this game, you won't lose very much stamina. If you parry poorly, so that means you just block instead of sort of perfect blocking. They call it guard and brink guard in this game. You will lose a lot of stamina, and that'll impact your ability to counter. So the goal is, with this game, is to brink guard the attacks. I'll keep saying things like perfect guard or perfect parry, probably when I mean brink guard. So they talk about it here. If you press L1, your guard button, you'll block an attack and won't take damage. But if you don't guard well, your stamina will get clobbered. Whereas if you guard at the exact correct time, you'll lose only a small amount of stamina, and it'll actually have the effect of reducing the enemy's stamina. So brink guarding essentially is the way you stagger an enemy to get in what they call a brutal attack.
Where is he?
So since I still have plenty of stamina, I'm just swinging, right? And you saw how it just kind of disrupted his ability to do anything. If the fight had lasted long enough, I would have had to have calmed down and let him out of turn.
There he is!
There's a little sideways passage over here. Get grabbed immediately. You can see the Yetis fighting. You can kind of let them fight each other. He should turn and fight the Yeti here in a minute. Well, never mind. He's just gonna be unhelpful. So this is what parrying looks like. It's like there, I missed. That's what perfect dodging, looks like. You do a charged heavy when they fall like this, because you have time. But note I'm low on stamina, so I need to calm down. But I've now staggered him, so now I can hit circle to do a brutal attack. And this gets you the Hound Helm early. So this is all optional, you could have skipped it. The game hadn't really explained its mechanics yet, so it's kind of funny that it put this here this early, but... So you can see you have gear, you have a neck and a ring, and then you have armor pieces in the typical slots like head, chest, hands, feet, and legs. So we're going to equip our ring, which gives us some extra health, and then we now have a little bit of armor on our head. So yeah, this is just you'll see this a lot on the levels, like these little optional side paths that usually lead to like little mini bosses like that, and some extra gear. And they're totally skippable. You'd be fine not doing all of them, but you'll get more loot if you do them. Now here, I recommend getting behind the rock so that you can't be hit by the other guy. Oh, I find the arrow guys really obnoxious because you have to deal with them at the same time. You're having to fight a melee attacker. So a brutal attack, you can either do it by sneaking up behind enemies by walking slowly, so we're going to do that here. The cursor changes like you saw with that Yeti, and I can hit circle. And it'll usually one-shot these weaker enemies when you do that. So here, if I fall and I hit my light attack button square, as I'm landing, I will do a plunge attack and effectively kill this guy. Unless I mess it up completely, which is what just happened. We got some boots. To sprint, you push in on your left stick. So this is mission 1, Heinmach. Now with these enemies with shields, you have to use a potent blow. That's a heavy attack, so we just have to hit triangle. It doesn't have to be charged, just a regular one is good enough. We're collecting the gear. So you get one sort of item belt in this game. You can use the left and right arrows to move between the items, and you can use the down arrow to use the item. So the one item it put on our belt is the mana lantern, so we can turn it on and off by hitting the down arrow. Just showing that.
A lacrima, a tear, a soul. Accept it. It will give us strength. Now you too will hear the memories of the dead.
Fire Enhancer lets you set your weapon on fire, and then it'll do additional fire damage. And these, I've sort of assumed that these frost enemies, like the Yetis, are weak to fire. So you can activate these blade stations where you can upgrade your stats. So this is the Battered Blade Nexus. So we're going to start by upgrading our Vitality and Endurance to about 15, and then we're going to start pumping our Proficiency stat, which is the stat that scales the best with the Spear, which is what we're planning on using. To talk about the stats a little bit, Vitality gives you health. So you can, and I'll show you what stats it adds. So it'll give you a tiny amount of attack damage, a tiny improvement to your weight, but a huge improvement to your health. So that's the stat. The primary point of this stat is to pump your health. Endurance gives you, here, let's back this one off for a second. Okay, so this one gives you a tiny bit of health. You'll notice all the other stats do give you a little bit of health. So 10 instead of 50. So even if you're pumping other stats up, you do gain a little bit of health. But the primary focus of the endurance stat is to give you a lot more stamina. So you can see that. And it also increases your stamina recovery rate. Strength will increase your attack damage while also slightly increasing your carry weight. But mostly, if you have a weapon that scales with strength well, that's going to be the great sword, then your attack damage will go up more. In addition, strength is a good stat for reducing the amount of stamina you lose when you take damage. And that just kind of ties in with the great sword, where you might be trading damage a little bit more. Willpower is the primary stat for dual wield. So you can see it goes up by 5 because we're currently dual wielding and our weapons scale best with that. Willpower will also give you a little bit of a boost to your stamina recovery, about half of what endurance does. And in addition, when you guard, you will take less damage to your stamina. So that's what willpower is good for. Proficiency, this is the primary stat for spear. This one will actually increase the damage you do to an enemy's stamina. So you're going to exhaust them faster and get more brutal attacks in. And it actually decreases the stamina cost for dodging. So I don't know if that means they intend for you to dodge more while playing spear or not, but that is what they boost that stat. So anyway, we're going to start with Vitality and Endurance. So you can kind of see that if you come up on an enemy with a if you come up on an enemy with a full stamina, you just can attack all the way till they're dead with these weaker ones. Try to look around. So remember these guys with the shield. We have to hit them with the attack in. So yes, you can knock the enemies off here.
I can't die. I need to see my daughter.
So just to show some of the items we got, the Soul Tier Dust actually gives you both health and experience. Your Lacrima is experience, which you'll see in the upper right. The yellow number indicates that I have enough Lacrima to level up already. Normally in these games you would in Souls-like games like this, you would take this stuff like the Soul Tier Dust and then you would spend it when it's time to level up when you get to a checkpoint. But because this thing also heals, it kind of changes how it works a little bit. Like, my recommendation is actually to wait till you're completely out of heals. You only get 3 right now in this early stage of the game, 3 heals, and when you're out, these can function as extra heals. So if that's the reason I like to just treat them like heals instead of like like experience. We mentioned Fire Enhancer lets you enhance your weapon with fire damage. Stone is something you can throw to deal a little bit of damage and distract an enemy, or pull an enemy, essentially. This is essentially a fire bomb, so we could actually register that, put it on our hotkey so that we're able to throw it, and then this is just something you can sell to vendors. To move between items on your quick use. I keep calling it belt because that's Liza P's term. So to switch, you just hit the left and right arrows. So now if I want to use the fire bomb, I can throw one. So this guy, in order to break this guy's stance, you actually need to hit him with a charged potent blow. That actually works really well here. Also, I'll demonstrate. Let's show the throwing a fire bomb. Just kind of letting you see how this guy attacks. So you can see, you have some time where you can swing before you actually do the brutal attack. And he always cools down enough after the triple attack that he does to like get it a charged potent blow afterwards. So we got some new gear. Now, one thing to talk about is the Hound set actually gives you bonuses. So that means we're going to prefer, like if we can find Hound pieces, that's what we're going to prefer here early on. And we were able to get the Hound helm because we went and did that little side detour. So that'll help us get to 2 pieces more quickly. If you come over here, there's a chest. So you can see we got the Hound pants, so we're going to have plus 5% damage already. It's nice and early. And we got a slightly better weapon. It kind of feels bad that we're fighting these soldiers that don't even think we're guilty of whatever it is we've been accused of. So next, go this way. Got a little bit of stuff up here. More fire enhancer. Which we'll go ahead and also put on our, let's see, fire enhancer. We'll register hotkey for that too. So that's fire spirits, fuel for tossing a grenade, and then we have the fire enhancer. So if you see, we're going to get to this crystal in a minute. Every level has a set number of these crystals to destroy, which I assume is just kind of like, I'm not really sure yet what the purpose of that is, other than they're just kind of a collectible. There's probably maybe a trophy or achievement for finding them all. Note you can hit multiple people with your light attacks. So you see how I was able to hit both of them as I was swinging, so that can be a valuable thing to do to line things up like that. Here we can drop to get to that crystal we saw earlier. And you can just swing and hit them to destroy them, and then we'll go back. Now, you are invulnerable while you're doing a brutal attack on one enemy. So, like, while you're doing a brutal attack on one, it's not like the other guy can hit and kill you or anything. That's I always get baited by this every time. It looks like a chest that I should be able to, like, open or do something with. Oh. And every time you rest at one of these, you'll recharge all your stuff. So you get all your heals back, and your health will go back to full. Uh-oh. So now you have these like monkey-like enemies. Don't go left here. The cave, or sorry, the floor will cave in. So you want to go around this way to be safe, and then I recommend just charging this guy. Because you can get both of them if you just charge quickly. Saw what letting you see what a floor cave-in looks like. And then the way forward here is to go down. And then if you go over here, you see someone you can plunge. So remember, you drop down and you hit your light attack. And it'll just take them out. And then the next place to fall is right here. Be very, very careful not to fall over here, because otherwise you end up on a smaller little strip and you can get knocked off by the monkeys. So you want to fall here. And now we can move to the narrower one where we're going to have to fight one more monkey. The key with that is to just get on them quickly before they have a chance to be bothersome. And drop down here, and then here, and then here. And you can see I'm hoarding the Soul Tier Dust because it's extra heals, and we're very, very light on heals early on, so I'm not spending it to level, I'm keeping it. Alright, so now we're going to have a Yeti to fight. You can see that I very much favor guarding versus dodging because it damages their stamina. See, and we've got this dagger on him, which will kill him. Next, you can go up here. Hit one of these again. And we have an optional little boss up here. You can kind of duck in here to get that guy shooting us to come closer. I find these guys so annoying. So heal up. Always keep an eye on your health bar. So we're gonna fight a bigger guy here. And I like to bring him down here where I have more room to see. So you can see I'm being very careful with my stamina. And we got the stagger because see we were doing the perfect guarding, brink guarding. And we get the Hound Gators. So you can see we're basically building up this Hound set. So now we have a faster stamina recovery and damage increase. You want to be careful not to, like, even though, you know, oh, we got this new Gladiator's leggings, they're the same defense, they don't give us the set bonus of the Hound, so you always want to watch out for that. Like, yes, this Gladiator's helm has 3 more defense, but we don't want to lose the 4-piece Hound set that we just got, or 3-piece Hound set.
Did you see that? It was a giant yeti.
So just to orient you, that was back the way we came. That was the optional side path over here. There was a crystal up there. And now we're going to pick up this little bit here, this little memory, and then we're gonna go through that path there to go forward.
Yetis! There are yetis here! Everyone run!
And just to show you, we literally have 6 Soul Tear Dust, which we can actually even put on a hotkey because it's a heal. Oh, whoops. Oh well. I just threw a last firebomb out for no reason. I always believe in, at least before we get, eventually you're going to get a javelin which you can throw at these things. But until then I advise rushing them because they can just be horrible. And they have a sort of setup time where they're climbing up, you know, off the cliff edge. Now, I should say, if you're playing dual wield, part of why I'm deferring doing anything with the damage stats is since I'm planning on being spear, I want to put points in proficiency. If you're playing dual wield, you could go ahead and start, you know, putting some points in willpower if you wanted to. I think there are a lot of viable and valid ways to allocate your stats in this game, and I don't think we've necessarily determined what the best strategy is. Like a lot of times early on in Souls games, the recommendation is to pump vitality, you know, pump health. But I personally haven't found that to be as necessary in this game. Like I've almost felt like stamina is equally important, if not more important, than vitality.
Here he is! Grab him!
See, I'm getting the guy with the arrow is shooting, which is frustrating. I really hate the way they do this. Kind of force you to deal with. And I tried rushing these guys, but like it did not work out well with the melee guy behind me. But this is a perfect example of where, hey, you can use this soul dust to get a little bit of heal.
Help! Help me!
This guy's nearly dead. He's clearly been beaten up by something. And he came from this way, so let's go investigate. Uh-oh, this doesn't look great. got exhausted, which can be very bad, because you end up kind of stunned for a little bit. So when you hear that noise, it means usually like a grab or something horrible like that. Remember, you have time to hit him if you have stamina before doing the brutal attack. So this is where you get the Hound top. So we just keep getting the Hound gear. And now we have against beasts a whole whopping 10% damage increase. So this is why you do the side content, right? Is that'll apply to our fight against the first boss. We'll be doing 10% more damage, which is great. So now we got a necklace that gives us more stamina. We got an upgrade on our weapon. So this is all really going to help us against the first boss, which is why this game really does reward like going down the little side paths. It's a very linear mission structure, at least in the missions we've seen so far, but these side paths are very important for getting geared up. Now in theory they're supposed to fight the Yeti. Well, that's fine. Now there's a guy shooting arrows over here. I like to take him out. Now you can kind of just let them fight for a little while. Especially if the other guy gets a stagger on the Yeti, then you can take advantage of that. You can see that the Yeti is getting vaguely close to being staggered. It can be tricky to come in while they're fighting. Now we'll get a stagger on the Yeti. Remember, you want to do the heavy, the potent attack to break through that shield. Now when we come up here, see that we can activate a shortcut. And that just takes us right back to the last checkpoint. Here, Scout Benji. Poor Benji. I assume maybe we will deliver those for a quest or something, but not sure. Alright, now we can upgrade as we prepare because we're about to do a boss. And now here's a point where I would suggest we could go ahead and spend the soul dust. First, let's look at our gear. We're not interested in getting rid of like a whopping 10% extra damage against beasts. You know, we're not interested in switching off of the Hound set because we've got nearly the whole set. So yeah, we can use our soul dust. You can hit the left arrow to quickly wrap around to max. If you want, you could do the exact math and like only use the amount of soul dust that would, you know, take you to the next level. Alright, and with that we're ready to do the boss. And then with our stats allocated, we are ready to take on the first boss of the level. So this guy does, it's very similar attacks to the stuff you already saw, right? And remember, so if you don't perfect guard, you end up, that's a grab, you have to dodge it. And he'll do a flop, and now remember, just hit as much as you can, and then you do the brutal. Now at this point he's going to pick up a giant rock. And you're going to have to dodge this. Which I didn't. And then it usually does a grab afterwards, which I also didn't dodge. But it's good to see how things can go wrong. This will be a breath, just get behind him. You can see I much prefer, brink guarding. Here you can get in a charged heavy. If you knock him down, you can do another charged heavy. Remember, you always want to manage stamina. And that's the fight. It's a perfectly valid approach to dodge, but you'll get more of those brutal attacks in if you learn how to, do the brink guarding.
What have we here?
And after you beat the first boss, you have the option, if you found the game too hard up to this point and just want a little bit of an easier time, you can drop down to easy difficulty. The game does force you to kind of engage with its systems and go all the way through the first level before deciding whether to do normal. If I had one criticism of this game so far, I think they should just make the easy difficulty available up front. It feels weird to me to gate it behind all of this. Someone who is having a bad time may bounce off the game before they even see this choice. So I'm hoping they'll change this and just make it available up front for people. But we're going to pick normal because we're going to give you a normal playthrough.
I was helpless. I was lucky it was the Bantu who found me.
Your body, give it to us.
Are we awake, sir? You have a ghost possessing you. Apologies, but to conquer it, you must undergo the trials of the Snow Mountain. You must be careful. The ghost possessing you is a powerful one. It will be very dangerous to purge yourself of it.
Your body, we must have it.
And that concludes the first mission. In the next part of the walkthrough, we will make our way through Storm Pass, ending in a fight with the second boss and the final boss of the demo, the Blade Phantom. So until then, see you next time.